Mike?
All set.
Okay. So we're going to open the Ashford Inland Wetland Watercourse Commission special meeting Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. And the first order of business is a seating of alternates. Cheryl, if you could sit for Jack Barkley, and Ken, if you could sit for Ray Fenn.
All right.
Good. Anybody else we need to sit? Okay. All right. Item number 2 is to review and approve the minutes of the September 1st, 2020 regularly scheduled meeting. Did anybody take a look at those minutes?
Yeah, obviously I wrote them, so I looked at them.
Okay. Well, Joe, did you take a look at them, Joe?
Sorry, say that again, Lenny?
Did you look at the last meeting in September minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did either of you guys have any questions or concerns about what was in them?
Nope.
Okay. And Robert, you're satisfied with them. You didn't want to make any more changes, right? I saw them too. You sent them to me.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, all those in favor of approving the minutes of the September 1st meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
And Ken, you're good?
Aye.
Good. Okay.
One thing I want to point out, we didn't do the minutes of the prior meeting, the March 3rd meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've actually forgot to say a second. Who would like to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay. So,
So who
I
was the?
I
who
did
was
it.
Who was
yeah,
the seconder?
Gary's second.
Gary's second, and who moved it? Was that you?
I did.
Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Item number 3, additions to the agenda. Are there any additions, Joe, that we're not aware
None.
of? Okay.
Just-
No additions.
Just
Okay.
the March 3rd meeting. We need to approve those minutes.
What was that, Bob?
The March 3rd meeting.
March 3rd.
I
Oh,
move we
yeah,
accept
because
the minutes.
we hadn't, we never got to approve those, did we?
That's correct.
Yeah, we missed that meeting that April, I think.
Can we just go back then and do it now?
I don't remember even reading those things. Has anybody read them, or?
I
should clean that up.
I didn't write
Yeah.
those ones. Joe wrote them, and
Joe wrote them.
I have no problem with them.
Okay.
Well, I move we accept March 3rd meeting minutes as
That's-
well.
Okay. Would like to second that.
I will.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the March meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Good.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob. That was good. Okay. Item number 4 is the 33 Amadon Drive, construction of retaining wall, fencing, and landscaping. So, last meeting, we just received the application, right, Joe?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our first time, first meeting, to review it. Now, since then, we did have a site walk, and I think Bob, Cheryl, and I were there. And Bob, you wrote some notes on that.
Yes.
Would you like to read those notes, into the record?
I can read them. Yes. Let me just find them
Okay.
though. Yeah. Okay. I gotta find
Okay.
those. Site visit minutes. Okay, site visit 33 Amadon Drive. Present was Lenny, myself, and Cheryl Chase. The contractor was there, and Tracy Smith, and someone else, the property owner. I put in the minutes. Commission members were shown the site of proposed work at 33 Amadon Drive. In a verbal description of the project, the contractor indicated the location of the infinity pool and other features of the project as laid out in the materials provided to the commission. Closest to the lake, the contractor indicated the proposed position of a new fire pit, which turned out to be on an existing irregularly shaped beach beyond the property's retaining wall at Lakeside. Beyond that, a new 10-foot wide, sorry about that. Beyond that, a new 10-foot wide beach is proposed to be built into the lake shallows as defined in the drawings and model provided. The lake will be drained on October 1st for normal maintenance purposes, and this will allow a membrane to be laid and new wall to be erected to retain beach sand. Chairman Liguori indicated that the contractor should provide the following information prior to the wetlands meeting at which the proposal will be considered. There was a bunch of items that were requested. The square footage of existing lake that is proposed to be filled, and the volume of material to be deposited in the lake, including beach, sand, and other material. Second point, location, volume, and types of material to be removed, and location, volume, and types of material to be deposited during the project. Measurement of the linear feet of existing retaining wall. Measurement of linear feet of new retaining walls. Length of existing retaining wall to be removed. A more detailed construction and site plan, including such things as details of footings to be installed, and bring the wooden model of the plans to the relevant meeting. The owners were informed that the Lake Sheffy Improvement Association owns the lake bed, and input from the association would be desirable. So that's the conclusion of the minutes of the site visit.
Thank you, Bob. Now, in addition to that, the only other piece of information that we got since that date was the October 1st, 2020 meeting from Lake Chaffee Improvement Association, and that was signed by Mike Panic. Mike, you're here. Could you just either read that into the minutes? Well, yeah, you want to read it or
the letter that I sent?
Yeah.
Well, before
Sure.
I read,
Or I could read it either way. You want me to read it?
before I read the letter, isn't it
Yeah.
relevant for the board to
Yeah.
know that it looks like the applicant has submitted a new plan?
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're just presenting all the information that we've gathered so far.
Okay, I prefer that you can read. I don't have it in front of me,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. So it was from Lake Chaffee Improvement Association, Inc., October 1st, 2020, to whom it may concern. September 1st, 2020, Tracy Smith, owner of 33 Amadon Drive, submitted an application to the Ashford Inland Wetland Commission for construction of a retaining wall, fencing, and landscaping. On September 9th, 2020, she attended the Lake Chaffee Improvement Association Board of Directors meeting and presented pictures and diagrams of the proposed improvement to the house and landscaping that would involve the removal of an existing retaining wall and construction of a new one several feet away from the shore and into the lake, and filling the void with fill, then beyond the current and new retaining wall, adding sand, creating what she and her representative described as a beach. Next paragraph. The LCIA Board of Directors is given authority to act by the LCIA Charter, bylaws, and ordinances. The LCIA ordinances is only document that addresses adding fill to the lake bed. LC 01-11-2 of the ordinances states that no dirt, sand, gravel, or stone may be deposited on the bottom or other association property unless an equal volume of sediment is removed from the same site. However, before any work be done in the lake, the association's board of directors or its agents must grant permission. This was clarified and explained to the homeowner in detail. A copy of the ordinances is enclosed. The LCIA documents do not allow the board of directors to give approval to a property owner to deposit fill into the lake or construct retaining walls beyond their property line into the lake, nor are property owners authorized to make application with government agencies for proposed construction on property owned by the association. The LCIA strongly believes this application is in violation of its ordinance and believes the homeowner needs LCIA approval prior to presenting any plans to the town of Ashford at any level. We hope you take this into consideration if this submission proceeds. Sincerely, LCIA Board of Directors, Mike Panic, President. Okay. Is there any other information that was gathered, Joe? I know that you had asked the homeowners for some additional information. Can you let us know? I think you got a different application, and just walk us through what's happened since the last time we got it.
Well, I met with George, and he is. You guys have a copy of everything that was submitted most recently. He's got a site plan entitled 33 Amadon Drive, new proposal 10320, which shows revisions to his plan. He has, for comparison, he's got the old plan that says old proposal 92020. He also added a detail of the construction of the retaining wall, depicting its plan and section view. That's entitled 33 Amadon Drive. It's on graph paper. He also submitted a construction schedule that's entitled 33 Amadon Drive 10320. It describes the schedule of the construction sequence, and then describes what he's doing as far as the pool, patio area, lawn area, step, and fire pit. And then the last piece he has is a fill displacement schedule, which appears to describe the miscellaneous materials that he's adding to the property and or removing from the property. At the very bottom, it looks like it's a net,
Minus.
plus and minus. He's adding 76 yards, but he's taking 76 yards of other materials back out.
Okay.
So,
All right. So we can assume then that the well done display model is not up to date.
That's true.
Okay. And we can, and I'm looking at the plan now, the 10-3-20 plan. Cheryl, you have that plan?
I do. I have it
Okay.
on my screen.
Great. So now the one that has the one old proposed 9-20-20, that one was kind of outlined in purple, and then there's a green line where the fire pit and all, and then there's another green line behind that. Now, the purple line, that was the old proposed retaining wall that was going to be pushed further into the lake, correct? Right? It has to be, because that's the 10 feet that went past. Okay. Lenny,
that's actually diagrammed as white sand beach.
Yep. Yep. So there's white sand.
That area there, that 10 feet is depicting the proposed white sand beach that he was originally going to do.
So that purple line now is basically gone. We're not doing that anymore, right?
Right.
Okay. Now the next line we have is kind of a dark green, bluish green line.
That one is gone as well. He's brought all of his limits of disturbance back to the green line. So again, the only plan you should really be paying attention to right now is the new proposal, 10-3-20, and that shows the green line on the new proposal shows the new proposed 40-inch retaining wall on the exact same position as the existing retaining wall.
Okay. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So, but this new green line appears to go right through, I guess, that proposed viewing thing that you're going to build on the end of the existing house.
So Len, can I interject?
Yeah.
To me, what I'm reading is that there's the existing wall is shown. That's the green line, and then the proposed wall is a slightly lighter yellowish green, I think, which follows the contours of the arc, which is that's what the edge of the pool and the beginning of the fire pit. That's how I read that.
I think, isn't the fire pit gone at this point?
Still there.
No, it isn't.
It's still there.
It's still there, but it's the wall itself. I'm following the same footprint as the wall that's existing now.
Okay, so and on the plan that says 9/20/20, and it shows the fire pit, that's in the run location, right?
That fire pit on the 9/20 plan is with the wall extended, and it's still curves inwards towards the house.
Okay, all right. So Joe, maybe you can help me. So
What you need to do, Lenny, is take the plan that says old proposal 9/20/20
Yeah, I got it.
and crumple it up and throw it in your wastebasket.
Okay.
What we're looking at is the new proposal 10/3/20. That's
Okay.
what you guys are.
Okay.
And the way I read it is that green line. If you look at the color key, the green line shows the existing wall,
Yeah.
and then he has a 71-inch wall and a 40-inch wall, which are two different colors. One is
Yeah.
blue, and one is kind of a yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those depict the walls that are going to be running along the edge of the existing wall where it is in the pool area.
Okay.
So the key here that I'm picking up is that he is not asking to go any further towards the lake other than other than where the existing wall is now.
Okay.
He's simply going to replace that, and then everything else he is proposing is upland from the retaining wall.
Okay. Okay.
The fire pit is still being proposed. It's the little red circle there.
Yeah.
The pool area is outlined in dark blue, and again, that's on the
Yeah.
house side of the new retaining wall that's being proposed.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, where's the existing steps that would come down from the side, the lawn? Are those gone, or are they?
Gone.
They're gone. Okay. So there's no way to walk right down from your lawn and then walk toward like it is now. That's gone. You got to hop over the wall, I guess. There's no stone steps. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. So now is all of the existing wall going to be taken down and replaced, or is it just certain sections of it?
The whole wall.
The whole wall. Okay. So the entire existing wall is going to be taken down, and a new wall with the details that you have given us in the last page here. So you have a 20 by 12 footing, a 10-inch wall. Then there's another one that has a 30-inch wide footing and a 12-inch wall. And what are those numbers? The 44, 12, 16, 12, 22 on that 12/3/20 plan. What does those mean?
Distances.
Okay. Distances of the wall. So do we know which one of those walls is 20-inch footing, and which ones are 30-inch footing? Which ones are 10-inch walls? Which are 12-inch walls?
Yes, the wall that's being replaced, all that wall is 12 inches wide and 40 inches high.
Okay, and
And
how
30
high?
footings.
How high is the existing wall?
It varies on different heights. It starts at Bob's house at about 44, and then slants down the hill down to about 28 or so, and then it's varied throughout the whole existing property.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Gary, Bob, Cheryl, does everybody understand what we're looking at here now?
I do,
Sort of.
but I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is this: the fire pit area appears not to have any wall in front of it. Is it at the lake, the level of the lake? Is it down at the level of the lake? That's my question.
Well, it's the level of the beach. The grass area in front of the wall is above the water to height, so that's my beach level. That's what I refer to as 71 inches lower than the flooring of the house to the beach level. So the water level doesn't really touch the grass area at that point. So technically the high water level is just below that height.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
the
was
fire
curious.
pit area the fire pit at 71 inches from the top of the floor won't have water in it. Because there will be beach height.
So you're not touching any of that existing. It's not really a beach there, right? It was like some gravel.
Grass.
stones.
Yeah. Well, no. It's all grass area, like
Yeah.
a lawn, scattered lawn. Yeah. I'm not going into that anymore.
Okay, so the fire pit is going to be at the same level as the existing grade now.
Right.
And then the
existing
new.
grade. No, existing grade of the beach of the grass area now. So I'm actually. So when you walk on that grass area after the wall, that fire pit will be at that level.
Right. And
Just
then,
to be clear,
Yep.
oh, sorry, Ken,
No, go ahead.
Len, carry it. So this beach is actually on association property, right? Because it's beyond the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know how much in front of the wall that's considered. I don't know if the wall is, if that's the case. I don't know if there's so much beachfront before the association property. I'm not sure.
Can somebody from the association enlighten us on that point?
Yeah, I'll speak on behalf of the association and be clear that I'm speaking on behalf of the association and not personally. In the new proposal 10.3-20, there is a green line that represents the current wall. And at all times, except for the last couple of months when we're in a severe drought, the water comes up and touches that green line at all areas. There is no beach area in front of that wall. And the wall is on the current property line between the applicant and the LCIA's property. I would ask that this commission consider this as like almost a neighbor dispute, because as we are a chartered association, we do own the lake and the lake bottom. So this would be like building a deck on your neighbor's property. So I want just to make
So basically that what is being called a beach is never really a beach.
It's not a beach. The lake is down a good 2 feet as we are here at this meeting today. And because the lake is down 2 feet, everybody looks like they have more property, but they don't, because
Normally it's underwater.
absolutely, Gary.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I've only been there 2 years. I've never seen it actually touch the wall, but you've been there longer. You've probably seen the difference. Somebody might be raised the lake height, but okay.
I think I'm not sure it's a matter of how long you've been there. It's a matter of where is the property boundary. And from what I understand, that retaining wall is the boundary of the property. And anything beyond it is Lake Association property. So that beach is actually Lake Association property because it's under the water, or when the water's low, it's visible. But it's still, the beach is actually association property, not the property owners.
Well, I have no problem with that. I'm just saying I've never seen the water touch the wall like that, but okay.
So I have another question then. My reading of this new plan is that the applicant is not proposing any activity beyond the limit of the existing wall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know there was an area, when I visited the site, there was an area where the, it was actually kind of a slope rather than a wall because it was maybe eroded or something. I'm assuming that the toe of that slope is approximately where the old wall would have been, and therefore still the work will not progress beyond the toe of any existing slope or wall. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one question of the commission, just so that I'm clear, because I've attended many of these meetings. Is there a public portion where we're going to be able to, as LCIA board members, speak, or are we going to have like back and forth as we need to?
Well, technically during our regular meetings, the only questions we really listen to are going to be from the applicant themselves, and typically the public is invited to come and listen, but not necessarily to give input. Now, we've in the past we have allowed people to make their statements. Now, we do have to make a decision at some point as a commission as to whether or not a public hearing is in order, and we'll address that in a little while. If we have a public hearing, then it's for the public, and it'll extend the application out a little bit longer for us to gather a little bit more information. But for right now, this is just this is the first meeting that we've had, and we're just trying to understand where we stand, because the first time we looked at this, it was significantly different than what we have here today. Now, based on your letter, it looks like they have not actually fulfilled their obligation as a member of the Lake Chaffee Association, in that they need to get permission from you before they actually submit something to us. We're not part of the association, so you need to square that up with the applicant. We're going to move on, with our meeting schedule. We actually have a pretty strict meeting schedule, and we need to adhere to that. So, okay.
Make sure that you have the facts so that you knew what the facts were.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We've done a lot of things, around the lake in the past, and we have gotten input, but we've never gotten a nice letter like what you sent. So I'm happy for that. Okay. So now, so let's go around the room, and we'll get input from the members here. So we'll start with Gary. Gary, you were not on the site walk.
No, I wasn't.
Do you think that you would like to visit the site, and maybe we could set another site walk for you and Ken?
It sounds as though we must.
Okay. All
Because
right.
it sounds like I have to be able to see what we're doing.
Yeah, I think so too.
I can't attend the last one.
Okay. So now, based on what you've heard so far, do you have any other questions?
No, nothing that I couldn't figure out if I was there and saw it.
Okay, good. All right, Ken, you still with us? Ken? Ken? Uh-oh. Did we lose Ken?
I do not see him.
No. All right, let me hold off a minute. Let me give Ken a call.
Ask Lenny, ask your site administrator. He should be able to tell whether he's
He
he's
did.
on
He
or
said
not.
he doesn't see him.
Oh, okay.
Let me just give him a quick call here. All right.
I may be old fashioned, but I don't think I like Zoom very much.
Oh yeah.
Just for the record, Gary, this is smooth compared to some of them.
Oh, geez,
Hey, Ken, it's Lenny. We lost you on the Zoom.
Yeah, my cell phone just conked out.
Oh, gee. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave my cell phone on,
Okay.
and then you can hear through that. All right?
All right, good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm in the process of charging it, emergency charge.
Oh, all
I'll
right.
stay on here.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So, Ken, what we're doing is we're going around the room right now to the members, and we're just asking. We know that you are not part of the site walk, and we think that that's important to do on this particular application. Would you like to go on a site walk?
Yes.
Okay. So we have two people now that would like to go on a site walk. Now, Ken, based on what you've heard so far, do you have any particular questions?
Well, Lake Chaffee owns the lake bottom, and if the water comes up to where this construction was or is, why, that belongs to Lake Chaffee. I don't have any questions beyond that. The diagrams I was looking at are a little confusing to me, but then I'm not very good at reading diagrams, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll help you. All right. So I appreciate that. Okay. So next, Cheryl, you were on the walk. Sounds like you understand these plans perfectly well. Do you have any questions?
I don't have a question per se, but I have an observation in that, it does appear to me that this plan is far better than the previous one in that it holds the same line as the existing edge of property. The only thing that I would be concerned about is to be sure that the association, obviously would need to approve something, because the temporary construction disturbance, you can't just plop a new wall right where an old wall is. You have to take the old wall down. You have to put up forms. It would have to intrude into the lake temporarily, even if there was a condition on the permit that said absolutely no material is to be further waterward than the existing wall. So that's one observation that I have.
Yep.
These are not really construction plans and drawings that that would indicate that, but we would have to be absolutely sure that that's very clear.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay. Anything else? Cheryl?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So now let me just make sure. So the portion of the retaining wall that's in yellow, that's kind of in a half circle, that's around the fire pit, that's going to replace the existing straight wall that was at the edge of the lake, correct? So basically the lake, that portion of the retaining wall is going to be gone, right? And then this new wall is going to act as a retaining wall for the pool, and it's also going to allow water or whatever to come into that area. So we don't. Okay. Now the fire pit, what is that construction? How is that going to be constructed?
It's block or concrete. It's not wood. It's all concrete. Yeah, it's a concrete little pit.
Okay. All right. So it looks like the fire pit is actually going to be, if the existing wall were to stay there, we know it's not, but if it was going to stay there, the fire pit would actually be on your side, into your property. It wouldn't be into the lake.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the new retaining wall is going to have footings that are going to be 20 to 30 inches. So maybe about 8 or 9 inches or something like that would actually be it'd be going below the ground, the surface of the ground, and it's going to be extended into the lake. So there is some encroachment into the lake, but it's in the form of a footing, which is below grade, and it's required, because if you didn't have that, the wall wouldn't be stable and we would have a problem. Correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So now, Joe, could you, do you have any questions or concerns, or would you like to tell us anything more?
I guess the one thing I observed, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read his construction sequence. I thought he did a pretty good job on trying to describe what what he was looking to do, and his construction detail on the on the retaining wall shows what I feel is a pretty good a good valid diagram. It's very similar to most of the retaining walls that we've approved in the past. In his construction sequence, he does mention installing silt fence before any wall assembly is any wall disassembly is started. I think that is very important. So he's obviously intending to put a line of silt fencing between the wall and the existing water line, or at least along the shore there. That is not diagrammed on the site plan, so I think that would be a good, probably the only addition that I could see going on the site plan. And I guess the only other input I have would be if you guys are going to consider having a public hearing. Obviously, the two reasons you have a public hearing are, number one, you receive a petition from at least 25 people requesting one, or you as a commission in a majority vote to that the proposed activity is a significant could constitute a significant impact to the wetlands. So that's what I would recommend you guys do, is make a decision on whether you're going to have a public hearing or not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else, Joe?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I don't think we need to determine whether or not we want a public hearing tonight. Okay. We have two members that would like to do a site walk, and we'd like to have Tracy Smith, if you could help to arrange for a convenient time for everybody to go back down. And Cheryl and I may want to go again also, but if you can arrange, is there a time, let's talk, Gary and Ken, when could you make a site walk?
I'm good.
Okay. And Gary?
I'm good Wednesday anytime.
Okay. Tracy, is Wednesday convenient for you for us to come back and do another site walk?
What time of
Tracy?
day? Yes, what time of day?
What time did we do last time? Was it 6, I think?
6.
6. Would
It's going to
6
be dark.
Yeah,
It's going to be dark by 6.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try 5:30?
It's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't do it any earlier than 5:30.
Okay. All right. 5:30. So that'll be, Joe, if you could send out a reminder, please, or Bob, for next Wednesday,
Wednesday the 14th?
14th at 5:30.
Let's have Bob do it, because I've been screwing up stuff lately.
Okay. Bob, would you be
Okay.
all right with that?
Yes, October
Okay.
14th, 5:30 site visit. Yeah.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. And Cheryl, if you could make it, that would be great. Bob, of course, if you can make it, please.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
Tracy,
I still have more comments, actually.
Okay,
Then.
all right. We haven't finished yet.
Yeah. Well, let me know when
Well,
I
go
can
ahead.
have
Well,
a-
why don't you go, Bob? Go ahead.
Okay, all right. This issue of whether there's an impact on the wetlands, I don't think we as a group know exactly what the impact of this construction is going to be on the wetlands. I mean, we've got a large pool right up against the lake. I don't know what impact that's going to have on the wetlands. We've got this fire pit that's actually going to let the water from the wetlands move into the property. So I don't understand the impact on the wetlands, and I'd like a professional opinion on that if at all possible. And also, I find these diagrams, while they're very good and they've led us a long way, I still feel as though they're not clear about exactly what's happening. I think we are, in fact, we do in fact request engineering diagrams. I think they are in the regulations for the Wetlands Commission. And I think we possibly should request them unless people think it's totally unnecessary. I'd be more comfortable if I had engineering diagrams in front of me that I could look at and understand a lot better, because these would show different elevations that we're looking at much more clearly than this does. Because engineers tend to come at it from different directions when they're drawing these things up. Those things are of concern to me. I also worry about when this thing's constructed. If it's not constructed according to an engineer's plans, we're not quite sure exactly what's going to happen based on these plans. So I'm worried about not so much the quality of the diagrams. I think these diagrams are very well done in many ways, but they're not at the level of an engineer, which I think is required for the magnitude of this project, particularly this big pool right up against the lake there. Yeah. So that concern and the impact on the wetlands, I think we need an opinion on from a professional wetlands person who can tell us whether there is actual significant impact on the wetlands.
Yeah. Great points. Okay. Anybody else? Cheryl, you good?
Yeah, I just actually have some procedural questions.
Go ahead.
First of all, does the revised application constitute a new application, or, such
No.
that this has been submitted today? That's
No.
That's a question. No. Okay. So the regulations actually state that if we're going to receive a petition, it has to be received within 14 days of the receipt of the application, which was a month ago. However, there is another. Joe mentioned significant impact, but there is one other reason for us to determine that a hearing is required should we go that direction, and that is that such an application, a hearing on the application, would be in the public interest. So that's another reason for determining that there should be a hearing. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. No, I think that there are several reasons why, if we decided to go that way, that we would be justified in having a public hearing. Especially given that the president of the Lake Association sent us a letter, and the letter was pretty straightforward as to how they feel about this whole thing. So I believe that if we went that way, we can. And I don't think that we need to make that decision tonight. But I do believe that next month, when this comes up again, if we don't extend it, then we need to have a public hearing, or sometimes we can get permission from the applicant to extend it without having a public hearing. But that's in some rare cases we've done that. But let me just get back to a couple of things Bob said, because I thought that was very good. So number one was we are although Joe is a certified wetlands specialist, he's not representing himself in this application as a wetlands professional. Okay, he's our consultant, and I do think that a simple letter from a certified soil scientist would be appropriate in this case, because we just don't know how all this work is going to impact that lake, and I would feel better if we could have something like that. So Tracy, one of the things that the commission has spoken about today was perhaps to get a letter or some kind of a report from a certified soil scientist giving us what the impact may be on this type of a construction development project. The second thing is that the engineering drawings that we have, they're good, but they're not engineering drawings like I would be used to and Cheryl would be used to. And what would make me concerned is that this is not just a typical retaining wall with some dirt behind it. We're talking about a pool with a lot of water, and that if this retaining wall isn't designed and constructed properly, it could, it could break, and that pool water and everything else could go right into the lake. Now, whether or not that would be an impact on the lake, I mean, there's going to be chemicals and things like that in it. It's a big lake. It's a small pool. May not have very much of an impact. But the point was brought up, and I think it was a good one, is that this retaining wall really should be designed by an engineer, so we know that it's going to stand up to the pressure, and that it's going to be required to hold. Okay. The next thing was, I think Cheryl might have said, was a little bit about when and how the construction might be implemented, and certainly before we get to a point where we are in a position to approve something, we would definitely need a little bit more. I think Joe gave us some information about sequencing and things like that, but we usually talk about, when the lake is going to be lowered down, when is it going to be dry enough to do this particular kind of work, what kind of machinery is going to be involved in it, how is it going to be constructed, you're going to have forms and things like that. Is it going to, there's going to be concrete being poured, or any other vehicles and construction machinery going to have to go into the lake, and so there's a lot of that kind of information that we would require if and when we decide that we're at a point where, okay, we have a workable plan. Now, how are we going to implement that plan? So, and then Cheryl's point about, and Joe's point about, public hearings and when and how we might be able to implement them if we come to that, and we'll address that next time. So I think at this point, Joe, if maybe you could put together a simple letter to Tracy, just sort of outlining the concerns that we have at this point in the application. And I think it's justified because, even though we're saying it's not a new application, it is certainly a lot different than the last application. And it's a lot different from what we were shown in the field and to what we're seeing now. We would have had different questions if this was shown to us before we had our original walk. So I think we do need to bring out those particular points that I just mentioned. And I think that we should try our best and get whoever is not at this meeting tonight, Rick and the other guys, if they could please try to get to the next hearing, it would be great, and also on the site walk. Okay, so
just one question on that, Lenny. So I think you're right that we can do the site work next week before we've got engineering drawings and a report from a wetlands person. I think that's right. I'm unsure about that point, but in other words, we're going to go on a site walk next week, and then we're going to get engineering drawings and wetlands input thereafter. And so will we then have enough information at the subsequent meeting of ours to make a decision without having to go for another site walk?
Well, it's a good question, Bob. But we only have 2 months to fish or cut bait. Okay, this is 1 month. Next month is the next month. We either have to make a decision at that point, yes or no, or we have to say, hey, this is going to be a public hearing, and then we can extend it out. I think it's 90 days or something like that. Okay, so so I think we do need to do the walk, because the first walk wasn't the true application, and and there is some confusion, and 2 of our members here weren't on the walk either. Gary, you're on twice for some reason.
Lucky me. You went away and I got back on.
Okay, all right. Now, I just want to get back to the letter one more time from Mike Panic, and it said here, this one paragraph, that the LCIA documents do not allow the board of directors to give approval to a property owner to deposit, fill, and all that. And it says the LCIA strongly believes the application is in violation of its ordinance and believes the homeowner needs LCIA approval prior to presenting any plans to the town of Ashford at any level. And he wants us to take this into consideration. So that may be another point, Cheryl, where, you know, it could point to maybe we need to have a public hearing where we can get further input from neighbors and from the association itself.
I'm not sure that the association has that level of authority, actually. I think.
Well, they can't tell us when, they can't tell us we can't have a hearing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they can't tell us if we want to approve it or not, or what conditions. All right. This is their association. He's a member of the association, and he should be abiding by their rules and regulations. If he doesn't, I don't know what the consequences are.
Well, I think the legal consequences, it comes down to a dispute between property owners at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
In other words,
so
it's
now,
nothing to do with our legal responsibilities with respect to
so
the
now,
wetlands.
the only other thing I'll let the commission know is that, yeah, as chairman, I do have the right to talk to our town attorney and to discuss the application with them. And I was hesitant to do that up until this point because I knew that there might be some changes in the application, and I knew we needed some further information before we could actually, you know, speak intelligently to the attorney. And so,
I think that statement you just read,
yeah,
prompts us to talk to the town attorney.
exactly. And that's why I read it again, because it makes me a little bit hesitant about, you know, okay. So, so I'm done. Is anybody else have any further questions, concerns?
Is there an opportunity for me to just kind of parlay on that letter a little bit?
Well, we'll give you a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, it's very simple.
I mean, if it's different from what's in your letter, then we don't need it.
No,
but
it's not different from the letter. I just wanted to be clear that the letter was based on the original proposal. The LCIA has not seen the new proposal. And with all due respect to the possibility of a public hearing, the LCIA certainly didn't show up at this meeting with 4 members being on the Zoom call to tell your board what to do. That certainly wasn't our intention, but our intention is to be heard as, you know, as an LCIA organization that's a chartered, you know, we're chartered with the state of Connecticut, and we do have the authority. And with all due respect, I would like very careful consideration at some point to there being a public hearing, because there are quite a few people that are interested in the application.
Good.
Other than the
Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I appreciate your letter. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Would you like to send us a different letter for next meeting now that you've seen the revised plan?
I think I will.
Okay. So we'll be looking for that letter, and the sooner you can get it to us, the better. And Joe or Bob, if you could please distribute it as soon as you can, that would be great. So, Bob, do you have any questions about the letter that we're going to send to the applicant, just kind of discussing the 4 things that I had mentioned to you?
No, I just want to be clear that I'm interested in engineering plans and wetlands report.
That was one of the 4. Fine. Okay. All right. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I would like to move along to in the agenda. Joe?
Yep.
We're good there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have another meeting next month, and we're going to have a site walk, and we're going to expect a new letter from the LCIA, and we're going to send out a letter to the applicant with our concerns from the meeting today based on the new plans that we've seen so far. Okay. All right, moving on. Item number 5 is new business. And we have an application from K. Warren, 31 Amadon Drive, septic system inspection, construction of sidewalk, dock and handrails on stairs leading into the lake. And then there's a B to that, Martin Family Living Trust, 9 Maple Drive, retaining wall construction repair. Are these two, Joe, are these two applications or are they just one?
They're obviously separate applications, Lenny.
Okay. And they're at different locations.
Yeah, that would be a key right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in 31 Amadon Drive, is the application complete in every way and check is in the
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Does everybody have a copy of that? I have a copy of it in front of me. Does everybody?
I emailed it to everybody, and it is also on the town website.
Yep. Okay. So I'm looking at it now. Joe, why don't you walk us through real quick?
Well, I'm not a specialist on what Kay's proposing here, but I do know she is planning on, she's interested in having her septic system inspected, which would require some excavation, which is within 100 feet of the water. She's also proposing the construction of a sidewalk that leads down to the water. She has some existing steps there that are somewhat treacherous, so she's proposing a handrail be installed to allow them to go in and out of the water safely. And then I guess the last part of the application is a proposed dock, which is depicted on her plans as well. It's going to be a dock that's actually going to be a permanent dock. It's set with 12-inch concrete sauna tubes, so it'll be a permanent dock that extends out into the water. It looks like 20 feet.
May I say something?
Absolutely.
Okay, on the dock, as long as you're on the dock, part of the dock, probably 2 feet of it, is going to come up onto my land and be permanently set into some, if you see on the bottom, there's a block there. That's going to be cement so that the dock does not move. And the rest will be out in the water. And the handrails to the stairs, the sidewalk, is only going to go to the top of the stairs. It's not going to go down to the water, the sidewalk. That's what you said before.
Hmm.
It's going to go, see where it says landing? That's the top of the stairs. I know my drawing isn't very good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I thought you did a pretty good job.
Thank you.
I have a question about the dock. These sonotubes, are they going to go down to below frost level within the lake?
Yes, they will. But I'm going to have to ask you to. Chuck Funk is going to put the dock in for me, and I know nothing about what he's talking about here. But he said that dock won't move when he's going to put it in, so that it won't warp. The lake freezes over. It's going to be solid.
Yeah,
because I can't go on a wobbly dock because my balance is not good anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely critical. It's not going to move because ice is extremely powerful and it can really move things.
Yeah.
So
but any questions, I won't be able to answer because Chuck did the diagram for me.
Bob, if you look at the plan, it's the last page of her application. It shows a 12-inch diameter concrete base sitting on lake bottom. So I don't know how tall. I don't know if that's the diameter or if that's the height, but He's
It's going
proposing
to,
four of
it's going to
those.
be where my retaining wall is. I have a
Well-
retaining wall.
Yeah,
And there's an opening to go into the water, and that's where that is going to be. And
So
I'm going to
it's-
I don't know if he put stairs on here, but there's going to be stairs on both sides of the dock as well.
20 feet.
No, just like 2 stairs to get down into the water.
Is this a brand new application that we will just be accepting this evening?
Mike?
I'm
is
sorry?
it- I lost everybody for a second. So is this,
New
what's the
application.
average length of a dock in Lake Chaffee?
This
So I guess that's my
This is the max that I can go. This is the maximum, 100 square feet.
Okay. And where
But
do
I do have to take a copy of this diagram. Next week, I'm going to go to the LCIA meeting because they're going to have to approve this dock before you approve it. That is in our bylaws. And so that will be done
Okay,
Then we
next
can't really
week.
do anything this evening anyway.
okay.
Pardon?
Then we can't really do anything this evening anyway until the Lake Association has already gone over it, correct?
Well,
Well-
we can, Gary. I mean, we have an application. It's a full application. At some point soon, we're going to decide whether or not we're going to accept it.
Okay.
But if we do accept it, then we're going to go on our schedule. And Kay is going to be in the same position that Tracy is in that
Right.
they've got to get back to those guys. So, I was just wondering, is this unusually long, or is this just a typical dock that we've seen in the past?
When I moved in in 1976, there was a 20-foot dock out there. And
Okay.
of course it rotted through the years and we just never got another one put up. And I'd like to stop to enjoy the water now.
Okay. All right. So,
20 foot's
Kay,
pretty normal.
if I was wondering, since we're going to be at your next door neighbors at 5:30 on Wednesday, would you be available for us, say, at 5 o'clock?
Sure.
Maybe we could just pass by your
Sure.
house. And would
Yep.
your contractor be available?
I can ask him to come.
Okay.
I can ask him
All right.
because I
Gary-
can't answer questions on that one.
Okay. Gary, Cheryl, everybody, would any of you be available 5 o'clock to go next door?
Glenn,
Yes,
I will not be in the state. I'm out of state next week, so I will not be
Okay.
at the state meeting.
All right. How about you, Bob? Gary?
Also on the
okay.
hand railings, temporarily, my neighbor's going to put something up so I can get in and out of the water, but he's on vacation right now. So,
Yeah.
um,
All right. Well, and that's not shown in your application, any temporary
yeah,
things.
it is. Yeah, it is. Handicap rails on both sides of the stairs.
But you
On that.
said that was temporary?
No, this is be permanent. But my neighbor's going to do something down so that I can get in and out of the water without somebody's help temporarily.
Temporarily, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just going to be
All right. But
a board and a skid down there or something. He
Okay.
knows what he wants to do. And,
all right.
and
As long as you're telling me it's not something permanent that we need to approve of. It's a temporary thing for your safety and
yeah,
right?
yeah, that I
Okay.
need because when you see my stairs, they're steep and I used to run up those stairs, but I can't do that anymore.
Okay. All right. So, Bob, if you could please then, in the letter, or, email you're going to send to the members, if you could make a note that 31 Amadon, 5 o'clock Wednesday, and
Okay.
and we'll go from there. Now, Joe, as far as you're concerned, the application's complete, and you.
Yes.
All right. So, does anybody else have any questions about it?
I do.
No.
Okay.
The one thing I can't really tell from this application is where the dock is going to be.
Yeah.
I see a
It's gonna
drawing that
be-
shows where the steps are, I can't tell
Okay,
what the dock is.
when, at the bottom of the steps, there's a flat landing, and it's going to be the opening of the retaining wall is right there, and that's where the dock is going to go, right at the end of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Did I explain it okay?
Okay. All
You
right.
walk down the stairs, and then he's going to put in two small wide steps, and then the dock is going to continue from there.
Right.
I think what she's getting at, Kay, is she probably we should probably diagram it on the plan, like on the aerial photo for your property or something, so they can see where in relation to everything else is going.
I don't know anything about aerial plans. I don't know how to read them or anything.
Okay.
I've got one here.
I'll help you out with it.
I've got one here, but
All right. Well, look. So Kay, for next time, it would be helpful if your contractor was there, so he could explain.
okay,
more.
I'll call Chuck and I'll see if he can be
Okay.
here.
And also, if he could be at the next hearing. So let's
Okay.
all right, that would be very helpful as well. And then,
Okay.
the type of materials that the deck is going to be made out of, is it wood?
It's not a deck, it's a dock. It's
dock,
going to be,
yeah.
he said something about some material that the water is not going to rot right away,
Right. So
that they use all the time on docks.
Right. So we would need to know what type of materials you're talking about.
He doesn't have that on there?
Well,
He does, actually.
No,
I don't see it, but
I don't see it either.
He's got 4x4 pressure treated posts. He's got Wolf PVC decking, which is gray. He's got runners of 2x8 pressure treated for supports.
Yep.
where the heck is all that, Joe?
The last
It's
page.
on the couple of pages after, yeah. It's
Maybe
before
you know what? I might have not have gotten the last page. My printer died on me right on this application, so I might not have that last page. Okay.
Okay, it's a diagram of the dock, and it shows everything.
Yeah, I don't have that one. Okay. All right. Well,
Can I
so it
just
sounds
make
like we've got some information. We got a site walk planned. So,
Yeah.
does anybody else have any
sidewalk.
further questions?
Yes, I don't have a question. I just have a worry for
Yeah.
Kay. When she talks to a contractor, question this business of the concrete being on the lake bottom. I mean,
Well, you would have to do that in order to stabilize the dock. That's what I had.
Yes, I understand that, but I think I'm not sure. But the lake bottom isn't necessarily going to freeze. I guess the ice is going to be higher up. It depends how deep the lake. How deep is the lake at that point?
Oh, it's not very deep where the dock is going. It's maybe, when the water is up to the wall, it's probably 2 inches, and it just starts to vary to go out into the water from there.
Yes.
You'll see it when you come. They'll see it.
Let me explain what I'm worried about, which I think you should talk to your contractor about. And that is if the concrete piling is on the lake bottom and there's ice at the top, let's say there's 6 inches of ice or more on the lake surface. If that ice moves, it could move that concrete piling. And that's going to torque the whole dock against where it's fastened on the land.
No, he told me it's not going to move because of that. Because I questioned him with that very much.
Okay. As long as you're happy about it.
But he can explain it better to you than I can.
Yeah, it's just that I have experience with my dock moving, and it just
I understand.
When it's fastened on the land, it just bends the dock. Is what
Yeah, we have
happens.
a couple. There's a couple out here that the frost got, and they're laying on their side. But
Right.
he said no, this will not happen the way he's going to build it.
All right. Okay.
That's all I can. That's what he told me.
Okay.
But I will see if he can be here, and if not, I will let Who would I let, Joe know that he can't be here or something, or who?
Yeah, Joe,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, coordinate through me.
Okay, Joe, okay. And thank you, Joe, for all your help in this.
No problem.
So,
Okay.
I
all
know
right.
that, I know you're working alone, and so,
Okay, so
Okay,
we'll
so-
move along. So,
Yeah.
Kay, we'll hopefully see you on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And
Yep,
so now,
I'll be
would
here.
anyone like to make a motion to accept the application?
I so move.
And then we have a second.
I do. I second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Ken's a aye too. All right, thank you,
Oh,
Kay.
Ken says hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
he says
Ken.
aye. Okay, we're moving along.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, under
Yeah,
new
bye-bye.
business, item B is the Martin Family Living Trust 9 Maple Drive retaining wall construction repair. Okay. I did not get that application. Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay, Joe, the application's complete?
Yeah, reasonably. He did not send in a state form. So I actually filled out a state form for him, no problem there. The fee, he sent in $60, but the actual fee is $120 total. So we can adjust that. That's no problem. But other than that, we got a basic application here. I think the site plan is a little deficient. I did try getting in touch with Mr. Martin. I never got a call back, but based on your comments and things on the prior applications, I think he needs to give us a little more detail on the proposed wall and erosion and sediment control.
Yeah. So it says proposed wall. Is there an existing wall today?
May I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a rock formation there that my grandfather put in years ago. You could call it, it's not much of a wall. It's just a pile of rocks there on that vaguely separate the water from the grass. He put it in back in the 60s, I believe, just to try to prevent the erosion, and it hasn't been changed or adjusted since, except for by the water. So yeah, so the wall is going to be all of about 24 inches tall. It's just to stop the erosion, and so I stopped losing grass there, and
Right.
Yeah, that's about all it is.
So what is it going to be constructed of?
Concrete block, interlocking.
Okay. And you'll go down below grade, below the ground?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. All right. And
Down
so
to frost level?
yeah. Cliffy is asking if it's going down below the frost level.
I'd have to talk to the contractor. I'm not sure if it needs to go down 30 inches. I believe that they use a crushed rock base that's compacted, and then the blocks are interlocking, and then they would have the rock and the silt material behind it there to create a water area for it to drain.
Okay, so could you provide us with some kind of a construction detail, cross section of the wall, and how the crushed stone is going to be going, applied, and
Sure.
then now it says that there's a dock. There's an existing dock there.
Correct. Yes.
Is anything going to be done to the dock?
No, dock's going to stay where it is.
Okay, so what you're telling me then is that you've got an existing low stone retaining wall that is not useful anymore, and it's allowing sedimentation to go from your property into the lake, and this is going to improve that, stop some of the erosion.
Correct.
And it's you're not changing the dock, and you're not protruding out into the lake any more than where it currently exists.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So if we can get some kind of a good cross-section of what you're proposing for us, Joe asked that you complete the application fee. That would be good.
Yep. I'll send in the balance. I didn't quite understand it, so
Okay.
I was wrong.
All right. And could you please check with the LCIA just to be sure that you're not, that you're in compliance with those guys as well?
Yep. Yes, I will.
Okay. Now, what are you doing on Wednesday?
I'll be out in. I won't be around. You can stop by and look if you want, but I won't be there.
Okay. All right. So I'll talk to the members at this point. Maybe if we have time and it's still a little bit light when we get done with 33 Amadon at 5:30, maybe we can go over to the 9 Maple Drive.
Yep.
And take a quick look. We've
Certainly.
got permission. Okay. All right. So again, Bob, if you could please make that note as well.
Yep, no problem.
We appreciate it. Okay. All right. So anybody else have anything else to add or?
Nope.
Good. Cheryl, good. Bob, you good?
I have these niggling things going through my mind. A concrete block wall is porous. If it's going to have rocks underneath it and rocks at the back of it, the lake's still going to get wash into the wall and such like. I don't know what that means. I have no experience of putting a retaining wall in a lake, but if it was me doing it, I'd want it much more solid than that. But that's not within the province of this commission, actually. It's just personal observation.
Well, we certainly don't want to allow someone to put in a wall that will defeat the purpose. The purpose of this wall is to stop the erosion that's currently going into the lake. So anything would probably be an improvement from just, the rocks that are there today, I imagine.
Right.
But we're going to get a cut sheet and we'll get to see it. Joe, do you have a question?
I was just gonna respond to what Bob said. Again, this will be a retaining wall. It's going to have, it's going to have earth behind it, and one of the problems that you have with these small, even if it's only a 2 foot high or whatever, if they're not built properly and they don't have like an under drain to prevent frost from pushing them, a lot of times, if they're not built correctly, within a few years they'll want to tip over. So yeah, you do want it built right. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
You don't want to have
Cliff.
to spend another couple $1,000, 2 years from now because it fell over on you.
I would not like to do that. That's correct.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah. It's not the commission's responsibility to comment on those things officially. It's just that it's your wall, and if it washes away, then it's up to you.
All right. So Cliff, you'll talk with the Lake Chaffee Improvement Association, okay?
Yeah.
All right, and you'll get us a cut sheet so we know exactly what kind of wall we're talking about, and we'll hopefully get a chance to pass by there on Wednesday. All right. Anything further from the commission?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
So would someone like to make a motion to accept the 9 Maple Drive retaining wall application?
So moved.
And second?
Michelle, second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ken is an aye. All right. Let's move on. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you all.
Okay. Item number 6 is the agent's report, 96 Knott Highway. Agent, can you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, everything is stable over there. They really haven't been doing any work at all, other than just processing the firewood from the trees that they cut down adjacent and within the wetland over there. About a month and a half ago, I met with an individual hired by the owner to draft up a site plan. I met with him. I impressed upon him. It was very important that they get the wetlands delineated to show the limits of disturbance. So you guys could have all the information you needed to evaluate an application. So that's what he was doing. I was supposed to meet with him a short time ago. We had an appointment set up, and he never showed up. So I haven't heard, and I don't have his phone number, so I couldn't contact him. But as far as I know, they are working on an application. So at this point, I think it would be prudent for me to draft another letter here and tell them that this is kind of like the line in the sand here. Because of the COVID thing here, we missed a whole bunch of meetings, and they've had several months to come up with a very simple site plan, and we haven't seen it. So, I think we need to give them. I think we need to give them another month here to come up with a plan, and if not, we remand this to the town attorney because this was handled as a notice of violation, although I didn't handle it formally with a show cause hearing. It was a violation to our inland wetlands and regulations, although it wasn't any. I didn't feel there were any extreme impacts, but they did work. They did work in the wetland. They did get a machine stuck in the wetlands. There were materials deposited in wetlands. So I think this needs to be handled promptly.
Okay, well, we'll take your advice. If you could send them another letter, please, and
Yep.
keep me informed as to whether or not they get back to you. And if by next month, if they don't respond or we can't find out how to contact these people, then we might have to take the next step.
Right. Well, the reason I'm concerned is because back months ago when I sent them a letter, requesting a delineation, an application, and possibly even a letter from a soil scientist, giving us some basic ideas on what the wetland functions and values were, and what the possible impacts of his activities were. He responded by saying, "I'm not spending that kind of money." He had gotten a quote from a local engineering firm that had done work out there prior, and he said, "I'm not spending that kind of money." He says, "I'm going to do the plan myself." And I said, I can't I can't tell you what to do. I said, I'm telling you what we are requesting as a commission. It's the commission's decision. They will evaluate whatever you put in front of them, but be it known that they're probably not going to be happy with you sketching something on an aerial photo. They're gonna want to see some sort of site plan to hold you to, because of the activity and the proximity of the vehicle storage, right immediately next to wetlands.
Yeah. We've had this application before, right? This is the one where they put the driveway kind of in and the.
It was Rogerson Masonry, and basically what happened prior it was kind of the same thing. It was an encroachment, and what you guys said as a commission, you made them put jolly blocks around the perimeter of the parking area adjacent to the wetlands. And what ended up happening, and again, I don't know what the timeline or who did it, but they basically filled and graded the parking lot and filled right over the jolly blocks, so that they were level with the surface, to make things level.
Yeah.
Then encroachments went beyond that. So that's what happened.
So they went beyond where those blocks were.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember it. All right. Thank you for the update. Anything else, Joe?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Moving on to item number 7 is member comments. Joe, maybe you could call me offline. I just want to make sure that we're getting all the members, notice for our meetings. I know that we've missed a few and the COVID thing and all that, but we've got some pretty, intense applications in front of us, and we could really use everybody's input, so maybe we could talk later, how we can make sure that everybody's well informed and hopefully come.
I
Yeah,
can
well-
I can help with that type of stuff if Joe needs help.
Yeah.
I can if Joe can
Okay.
send me materials in electronic format,
Yeah.
I can send the materials to all members.
Well, once he has
it's
it
easy.
electronic, then it's easy, because it's got to go to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's, but
Yeah,
maybe you could help with, maybe, Bob, maybe you could call each member and just, you have the attendance records of the last few months. So maybe you can, talk to each one of them and see if, they can come to the next meeting, and definitely they should be aware of the site walk coming up. Okay.
Yes, I can play a more active role in terms of announcing meetings and so on. But I think I prefer to work directly with Joe. If Joe needs help, I can do it. There's almost nothing I can't do on a computer.
Well,
So
Joe, that's a good point. And Joe, you had made mention that you've got quite a few things going on. Why don't we, the three of us, maybe we can noodle around a little bit and see if we can, help you out. Okay.
No, that's definitely awesome. I'll take all the help Bob wants to give.
Okay.
The biggest problem I have is my computer in the town hall is a nightmare, and so is the email service. So that's been huge. But for notices and things like that, if Bob's helping me out, that'll be huge.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk further so we're crystal clear on exactly what Bob, may do for us. So we don't do things twice or we forget something.
I think it's pretty easy. If it's Joe's the point man, Joe can merely tell me what to do and I'll do it. If he needs me to scan documents, if he can get them to me, I can scan them.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So any other member comments?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So then I'd like to, would someone make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Cheryl. Second? We got a second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Ken's an aye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.